Week 2's in the books. It's time for some power rankings.
Joe Burrow loses at home to Mitchell Trubisky with 5 turnovers and then gets outplayed by Cooper Rush.
This is going to be a fun year, and hey, we still got 16 weeks to go in the regular season. So with all that being said, let's dive right into our latest editions of the official weekly power rankings. Number 32, Atlanta Falcons. Last time's ranking, 31. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. The Falcons can take pride in the fact that they almost beat 2 heavy favorites in the New Orleans Saints and Los Angeles Rams to open the season, but that's not how we see it. We see a team that can't figure out how to play a full 60 minutes. They collapsed in the fourth quarter against the Saints last week and then waited until the fourth quarter to make it close against the Rams. On the bright side, Drake London looks like the real deal, but has anybody seen Kyle Pitts? Anybody? Hello? Number 31, Carolina Panthers. Last time's ranking, 27. It has been an ugly start for the Panthers. Baker Mayfield is playing no better than Sam Darnold right now, barely completing over half his pass attempts with only 380 passing yards in 2 games. Nice to see early production from Christian McCaffrey, and the D has given Carolina a chance to win each week. But if the Panthers don't start stringing together some W's, would anybody be surprised if Matt Rule is the first coach to get fired this year? Number 30, Houston Texans. Last time's ranking, 25. Credit to Lovie Smith's defense for narrowly leading Houston to another big upset against a playoff contender, but moral losses aren't really a thing in today's NFL. Davis Mills doesn't have enough weaponry, and it really showed in Sunday's Week 2 loss to the Denver Broncos. The offense has been sluggish as well, but at least the Texans have a beatable Chicago Bears team next on the schedule. Number 29, New York Jets. Last time's ranking, 32. Jets, Jets. Joe Flacco had another 300-yard outing, this time with 4 touchdowns, and the Jets stunned the Cleveland Browns by rallying for 14 unanswered points inside the final minute 22 to pick up their first win of the season. Robert Saleh said during the week that he was taking receipts from all of the doubters, and his players came out on Sunday and backed him up. We'll see if they can keep it rolling next week when they host the Bengals. Number 28, Las Vegas Raiders. Last time's ranking, 19. The Raiders' 0-2 start isn't exactly surprising. We knew they'd put up a lot of points, but we also knew their O-line would struggle, and that the secondary would not hold up against elite passing offenses. The Raiders coughed up a 20-zip lead and lost in ridiculous fashion in overtime, with Byron Murphy scooping up a Hunter Renfrow fumble and taking it to the house for 6. Is it too soon to ask if Devontae Adams is missing the Packers? Number 27, Chicago Bears. Last time's ranking, 22. Nothing stunning about the Bears getting owned, again, by Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field. Justin Fields and the David Montgomery-led rushing game gave the Packers some headaches, but the Bears' D and receiving core just aren't good enough to compete with the league's top dogs. That fact was on perfect display in Week 2. Number 26, Dallas Cowboys. Last time's ranking, 28. What a gutsy season-saving win for the Cowboys at Jerry's World. Cooper Rush had a superb outing, and the Ezekiel Elliott-Tony Pollard rushing duo powered the Dallas offense against the defending AFC champs. If the defense can keep up this level of play, the Cowboys will remain in playoff contention even without Dak Prescott. Number 25, Seattle Seahawks. Last time's ranking, 23. The Seahawks apparently put all their emotion and energy into their Week 1 win against old friend Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos because they had nothing against the San Francisco 49ers in Week 2. Now, we wouldn't start stressing just yet, though. Seattle will host a winless Atlanta team in Week 3, and then they travel to Detroit for a showdown against a beatable Lions squad. So, a 3-1 start is still a possibility. Number 24, Tennessee Titans. Last time's ranking, 18. It's tough to be too hard on the Titans for getting walloped by the best team in the league on the road on Monday night, but given their history against the Bills, you would have hoped they would at least keep things close. Well, that wasn't the case, and now Mike Vrabel's team has to dig themselves out of a 0-2 hole. Good luck with that. Number 23, Detroit Lions. Last time's ranking, 29. The Lions got back to business and utterly dominated the Washington Commanders 36-27. Rising superstar Amon-Ra St. Brown led Detroit in both rushing and receiving yards, yet he wasn't the player of the game. That honor goes to rookie Aiden Hutchinson, who racked up 3 sacks in his second NFL outing. Number 22, Cincinnati Bengals. Last time's ranking, 12. Certainly not the start the Bengals expected. Who really thought they'd lose to a Dallas team that was without Dak Prescott? You know, considering how awful the Cowboys looked in Week 1. Joe Burrow's new look O-line already looks worse than last year's group, and that's saying quite a lot. But the schedule will ease up a bit over the next 7 weeks, beginning with a visit to the Big Apple to take on the Jets. Number 21, Washington Commanders. Last time's ranking, 21. Not a very good day for the Commanders. The defense looks more like the 2021 squad than the elite 2020 group in the early going. Carson Wentz is slinging it, but he threw 1 pick and took 5 sacks. 300-yard games aren't gonna cut it if the turnovers continue, and if the Washington D keeps getting lit up like this. Number 20, Cleveland Browns. Last time's ranking, 16. Just a miserable loss for the Browns. Couldn't even beat the Jets at home. Couldn't recover an onside kick. Couldn't stop a backup QB from pulling off an improbable upset. Just frustrating all around. Number 19, Indianapolis Colts. Last time's ranking, 15. I don't think anyone can explain why the Colts turn into the NFL's worst team every time they visit Jacksonville. Once again, the Colts had absolutely no answer for their rivals on the road. Now, we'll cut them some slack for missing key players like Shaquille Leonard and Michael Pittman, but if they can't beat the Jags or the Texans, how do you expect to even keep things close against the Chiefs next week? Number 18, Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time's ranking, 30. Speaking of the Jags, they sacked Matt Ryan 5 times while also picking him off 3 times. Trevor Lawrence looks at home in Doug Peterson's offense, and Christian Kirk is actually living up to that hefty $72 million contract in the early going. Given how mediocre the AFC South looks, Jacksonville could actually make a run at the playoffs. So hey, stay tuned. Number 17, Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time's ranking, 14. Let the hashtag Start Kenny Pickett campaigns begin. The Steelers D gave them every chance to beat the Patriots in Week 2, but Trubisky just made mistake after mistake. The Patriots defensive backs dropped several should-be interceptions, so Trubisky's stat line really does not tell the whole story. On a day when all 3 of their division rivals lost, the Steelers blew a big opportunity. Time to turn the page though and focus on Cleveland. Number 16, Denver Broncos. Last time's ranking, 17. You know your clock management needs to be better when your own fans are counting down the seconds on the play clock for you. The Broncos are a mess despite their 1-1 record. They could easily be 0-2, but they screwed up slightly less than the Texans on Sunday. So hey, congratulations to them on their first win in the Russell Wilson era. Now, hey, stop taking so many delay of game penalties. I'm always late. Number 15, Minnesota Vikings. Last time's ranking, 11. It was yet another classic Kirk Cousins primetime performance. We all should have seen this coming. Despite all the success that the Vikings offense had in Week 1 against the Packers, we don't doubt that Cousins and Justin Jefferson will get things going again, but maybe hold off before anointing them the new most unstoppable duo in NFL history. Number 14, New England Patriots. Last time's ranking, 26. It's a big jump and a well-deserved one. Everyone was writing off the Patriots because of one simple Week 1 loss to Miami. Bill Belichick had his troops far more prepared for Week 2, and it showed. The Patriots got back to playing situational football and by leaning on their potent rushing game and lockdown D. If Week 2 is a sign of what's to come, the Patriots will be a force again in the AFC. Number 13, New York Giants. Last time's ranking, 24. We never thought we'd have the Giants placed higher than 20 at any point this season, yet here they are, within the top half. Not that the Panthers are world beaters, but the Giants just look so much more energized and motivated under Brian Daboll. The offense has its limits with Daniel Jones, but Saquon Barkley and the D have held up on their end. With the Cowboys and Bears next up on their schedule, a 4-0 start isn't out of the question. Number 12, Arizona Cardinals. Last time's ranking, 20. Massive season-saving comeback victory for the Cardinals over the Raiders in Week 2. Kyler Murray followed up a poor Week 1 outing with a superhero-like performance in Sin City to help his team avoid a disastrous 0-2 start. A kind reminder that when Murray is on, he is really on. Number 11, New Orleans Saints. Last time's ranking, 7. Frustrating game for the Saints. Their defense once again dominated Tom Brady, but Jameis Winston reverted to his old self with 3 interceptions, including 1 pick 6. Not a fun day at the Superdome, but at least they get the hapless Panthers next in Week 3. Number 10, San Francisco 49ers. Last time's ranking, 13. Losing Trey Lance for the season with an ankle injury is tragic. With Lance sidelined, the 49ers are once again Jimmy Garoppolo's team. Good thing the 49ers didn't trade or release him. He played well in relief of Lance, and the 49ers looked everything like the Super Bowl contender we expected them to be. Number 9, Baltimore Ravens. Last time's ranking, 6. The Ravens endured a miserable fourth quarter collapse, blowing a 21-point lead to Tua the GOAT Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but Tua really had his way against a Baltimore secondary that was supposed to be the best in the league. The Ravens won't survive for long in January if their D is gonna be this bad. Number 8, Los Angeles Rams. Last time's ranking, 10. It was way closer than it should have been, but the defending champs got past Atlanta to avoid the dreaded 0-2 start. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp are still having their way against opposing defenses, but that defense needs to get going and soon. Number 7, Los Angeles Chargers. Last time's ranking, 5. The Chargers deserved a better fate in Kansas City, but Justin Herbert's costly pick 6 was ultimately the difference on Thursday Night Football. The Chargers just got their toughest game of the season out of the way, and now a much more friendly opponent in the Jaguars awaits. Number 6, Miami Dolphins. Last time's ranking, 8. Everyone was wondering whether Tua was the man. And, well, I think he's answered those questions through the first 2 weeks of the season. Is a 71.1 completion percentage, 739 yards, and 7 touchdowns good enough for you? Number 5, Green Bay Packers. Last time's ranking, 9. The Cheeseheads got back to business with an easy win over the rival Bears at Lambeau Field. Now it's on to Tampa Bay for perhaps the last ever Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers showdown. Number 4, Philadelphia Eagles. Last time's ranking, 4. These Eagles are the real deal. Like Tua, any doubts about Jalen Hurts' ability to play the quarterback position have surely been answered by now. He and the Eagles' offense are a juggernaut reminiscent of their 2010 group that was led by Michael Vick. It may not be a stretch to say that this is the best team in the NFC right now. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time's ranking, 3. An understandably frustrated Tom Brady isn't playing at a high level with the depleted receiving core and O-line. But if the Bucs are winning games on the back of their defense while the offense struggles, so be it. Todd Bowles' tenure as Tampa's head coach couldn't have gotten off to a much better start. Now will you wait and see what the defensive mastermind draws up against the Packers in Week 3. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. Last time's ranking, 2. Mahomes wasn't at his best, but the Chiefs' defense played admirably against the Bolts, and Jalen Watson's 99-yard pick 6 off of Justin Herbert helped propel KC to a 2-0 start. They're on a collision course towards the AFC title game with our next team. Number 1, Buffalo Bills. Last time's ranking, 1. The Bills are on a mission this season, and the Titans were just another roadblock that they ran over with ease. And the Allen-Diggs combo appears to be unstoppable. If the Bills can't win it all with this squad, they may never get a Lombardi trophy. But who do you think is the NFL's best team through 2 weeks? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.